Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Um, Today we are having a Bincom Startup School event, and the theme for today's event is building a minimum viable product and onboarding your first set of users as a launch startup. And for today's event, we have two speakers who are going to be speaking to us based on their experiences. And please, I would like everyone to please listen, and at the end, if you have questions, please ask. There will be time for questioning. Or if you are shy, you cannot ask a question. You can drop them in the chat section and I'll read it aloud. So let's start. Our first speaker, she has worked with businesses, NGOs, institutions, publishers, and authors to help take their documents from written to published. In 2017, she published A Speech in Style, and that's a business guide for editorial freelancers. She's passionate about the publishing value chain and enterprise and entrepreneurial development. Sorry. So everyone, let's welcome Adebukola Basi.
Thank you, Ms. Ineka. My name is Adebukola Basi, and I would like to also welcome everyone to Bincom Startup Schools program for today. The topic is building a minimum viable product, onboarding your first set of users as a pre-launch startup. And I would like to unpack it as two topics in one. Please stay with me as we look at both of them. How long do I have, Ms. Ineka?
About 40 minutes.
Hello.
It's 2 hours event now, so about 40 to 45 minutes. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can. Thank you very much. So I want us to start looking at a minimum viable product. Let's reverse engineer it a bit by looking at a company that started with a minimum viable product and then, started adding product offerings to it. And that will lead us to, a better and deeper understanding of the definition, because the word might be new to some, might have become stale to some, but let's just look at it. Let's look at Piggyvest as an example. Piggyvest started out in 2016 as a simple idea on an app that was lovely to use. They had great customer service to help with onboarding and support and all of that. But what were they saying? Come, let's help you improve your savings culture. Come and save your money with us the way you would buy a piggy bank and just be putting a little at a time, and at the end of the day, you have a bulk. Just that simple idea. From that simple idea, they said, come, we can help you lock your money so that even if you want to get tempted, you can't touch it. And they did this simple thing for 3 years. Either you save in such a way that you can access your money at any time, or you save in such a way that you can't access it until maybe you said September or November, whenever you choose. So they did that for 3 straight years before they added something else. They added investments. So you could invest in farming, you could invest in financial area. That is, you could do dollar investments, and then there was dollar savings, and then there was cryptocurrency also before the legal crackdown on cryptocurrency. But look at Piggyvest now. It seems massive, it's big and all of that, almost 400,000 users and billions of naira. But the point of today's meeting is they had to start first. They had to start with a simple idea, test run, see that it works, and then they move on to you know, all they have added might purely be from customer feedback. It might purely be from, you know, asking the market, what else do you want? What else would you like to see happen on the Piggy Vest app? And so they went from Piggy Bank to Piggy Vest when they added other things. And even in their growth now, I'm sure they have been inspired over other financial tech companies to start, to stay strong, you know, don't give up, you know, because when you see their growth trajectory and they're not stopping, as a fintech, if you're into fintech, that's an encouraging story for you that the Nigerian environment is ripe for such services, for such a product. But, you know, they started first, they started small, they started little, they started with minimum viable products. They tested the market, saw the market was ready for it, ready to, you know, grab the opportunity. Then they made sure they built a solid foundation, and from the foundation, they moved on to more and more. They might come up tomorrow with something else, but for now, you know, that's what they are doing. They stayed simple and nimble until it was time to add the bells and whistles. You might not be in fintech, you know, you might be into fashion and all of that. Your dream might be to be a big time production company, you're into ready to wear, you want to produce in large numbers and maybe have like 10 stores or 20 stores around the nation, and maybe go to showcase your designs at New York Fashion Week and all of that. But, you know, from where you are right now, you can't just jump into the market and, you know, commit millions of naira into something you've not tested. You've not sold 5 pieces of dresses, or you've not sold 50 and you want to make 500. No, don't jump into it that way. Get your minimum viable product. You know, for a big time fashion designer in the making, your minimum viable product might be you creating work dresses, you know, advertise, market, build the audience, and the audience that will buy work dresses will definitely be interested in dinner dresses. And when they have trusted you enough with that, you introduce cocktail, you know, all of that. You start to build foundation upon foundation, and before you know it, the whole company is ready, is roofed, is painted, is looking so very interesting for other investors and other people who might want to also run with such an idea as you have. I don't know what your industry is, people who are here, but if you would like us to also look at what your minimum viable product is, you can just drop it in the chat section. Let me look at an example of a chef or a cook who wants to own a swanky restaurant, cook delicious things, cook unique things. You know, I've met people who have a new twist on normal, what I would call normal dishes. Someone might take our normal dish of beans, you know, and say, instead of palm oil, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, you know, instead of just adding corn, I want to try adding something else. And then, you know, but all, you know, people are creative, people have all of these ideas, and they, of course, creativity without gain, without profits, is just frustration. So you have to temper your creative impulses. You have to temper it to what the market is saying, what the market wants, what the market is running with. For example, when we were still under lockdown for COVID-19, try hard as you may, if you want to sell shoes, let's say high-heeled shoes, to people, that period was just not the best time to launch, or maybe the best, it wasn't even the time to start a marketing campaign. No. But what if you were into office furniture and you locked down how to deliver to people who were, you know, people were working from home. Many people had to quickly buy chairs, buy table, you know, just clear up a section of their home, or a whole room and just have that space to work in. So someone who is into office furniture and who is watching the trends in the market can use that opportunity to start or to expand on their minimum viable products. Someone who is into nightwear, laundry, many people barely changed out of their nightwear from day to day, you understand? It's just from one house coat to the other, from one pajamas to the other, all through, because nowhere to go. So someone who is into that, who knows how to, you know, move fast, would sell more of those things. And another way to look at it is someone who was simply making gloves before or making handkerchiefs, looking at the market, can simply add the production of face masks. A lot of people went into face mask production because the market was ready for that. The market was willing to pay money to get clothes face masks. Many companies were branding, they were importing, and at a point importing was not viable. So they had to look at what was available within the country to look at that. And then they were ready to pay, and a lot of people made money from that. So that's another way of saying, I have started small and, you know, I want to start adding things. Someone who has been making cloth face masks in the last 6 months, for example, does not necessarily have to continue making those things, but the person now has more contacts, you know, maybe corporate, individual, you have more contacts, you have a larger customer base whom you can look at and say, okay, now I have more women aged 40 to 60 who, you know, I have their contacts, I can market directly to them. What do these women need fabric-wise? What do they usually use? You can quickly make a prototype, maybe make just 5, just 10, advertise, let's see the feedback. From the feedback, from 10, you might start making 500. And that is how, you know, you just continue iterating as an entrepreneur. You don't stop thinking about what else, you know. If Piggy Bank had stopped thinking about what else they can do, they would have stayed as a savings company. But now their savings, their investments, because they were listening to the market, they were getting feedback, and, you know, they were looking at the times, looking at what was happening and what the market would like to have. Who wants to just put their money somewhere and is not earning? Of course, if the person had been doing that before, the moment they hear, give us your money for 6 months, we invest it in some maize farm, and then instead of 5%, you are getting 8% back in 6 months' time. Okay, no problem. I didn't want to spend it anyway. So, you know, I'm happier to have that opportunity. And so that has really helped them in growing. So in looking at this, no matter the sector you are in, no matter your talents that you want to explore, one key question is, what is the, you know, the basic, what is the foundation of this business I'm into, and how can I start small? You know, as a chef, you might start vending food. There are many Instagram vendors who tomorrow, in 3 years, in 5 years, you know, they might start advertising their restaurants. They've, you know, gathered enough courage, enough clients, enough financial resources, even investors, to be able to say, okay, now I'm moving out of this home where I'm cooking, opening a restaurant, and people, their soups in and eat. The confidence will be there because the customers are already there. The feedback is sure that people love the way I cook. People love the things I make. Maybe it's the traditional meals or something I'm iterating on and, you know, just giving this twist or that twist. You know, people just love it. You have that confidence. You have you can show working to your investors, even if it's your parents, even if it's your family members who are investing, you can show your working, you know. Even banks, they can see that, oh, client A is sending in money. you know, you are making so much, and if you are able to get so much, you'll be able to achieve a lot more with that. And that's how you grow big from there. So what problem do you want to solve? How can you start ASAP? You can start with your minimum viable product. You can start with the littlest thing, knowing that from there you keep growing. But I also want to warn that there's a way you can also start with your minimum viable product, and if you don't put processes in place, it becomes hard to grow. For instance, if did anyone drop their business ideas? Okay, the chat is still empty. Okay, so let me continue with the idea of the chef that I'm using. So Chef B has decided that she is going to continue cooking this or cooking that, and you know, she's cooking it from her kitchen. When she's done, or even while she's on it, she takes her phone, takes pictures, sends to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. People admire. Some 2 people try today, 3 people try tomorrow, and from there, before you know it, the chef is, you know, has like 20 regular clients and maybe 20, you know, random clients who surface every now and then. So what she can do is, as you know, she's getting more, she needs to start setting out her processes. Even when she's still the accountant, let the accounting be done. When she's still the marketer, let the marketing, you know, let it have structure, let it be done. Even when she's still the one who goes to the market to source the ingredients, and then she's still the cook, let everything be separated. As soon as possible, get a business name. As soon as possible, get a business account. Make sure, you know, when clients pay, you know how much they are paying, you know how much it costs you to make the food, to send it over, to, you know how much your own salary is. So, you know, from there, you can know how much you're making as profit or loss. When you know this, you can decide, oh, tomorrow I'm going to have to reach my clients and tell them things are costlier. I was selling 1 liter of soup for 2,000 naira before, but I'm sorry, I can no longer sell at that price. It is now 1,200, 1,500. You can say that confidently because you have done your accounting well. You know that you've been running at a loss, and you know you cannot continue that way. But if you do not do the accounting, and the clients are paying to your personal accounts, maybe you have a day job and the salary is also paid into that account, and then maybe when someone wants to gift you money, or you want to, you know, all sorts of things are coming to that same account, and you are not keeping a written record or using an app to monitor all these things. And maybe you don't even care to know, I bought egusi 100 naira and used everything. I also bought crayfish, I bought this, I bought that. Everything I used to make this 4 liter of soup eventually came to this amount, and my labor cost is also amount for each time I cook. If you don't have all of those things down, it's going to be hard for you to grow. Okay, you can grow an elephant business from a baby elephant, but you cannot grow an elephant from a chicken's egg. So even as you are going to launch, you know, with the minimum available thing, with the minimum most important thing, you still need to start putting your processes in place, start making things right. If it's a tech startup, I know it's very important that you separate the role of CEO and COO. Very, very important. Even when, you know, that's why it's always good to be open to partnership, to be open to people who have the same orientation as you, that, you know, you can work together with minimum friction. and then, set everything out in writing. Whatever needs to be legalize them. And then, you move on with less stress. Let me put it that way. And so with that, you can identify your point of entry into the market, work at it well. The part of working at it also is what I meant by putting your processes in place to be sure, say we are going places, yeah, we do this, all we do is proofread at BMS editorial, but we know eventually we are going to grow into a publishing company. We want to become a publishing company, but we don't know how to market books. We don't know how the bookstore processing. You understand how to get bookshops to collect your books, and how to work on all the marketing, how to work with authors, how to work with editors, how to, there's so much to learn. And so from the beginning, it might be very impossible for you to do that. So I took that proofreading and focused on it. In fact, I started with hashtag Lagos Proofreader. Then I used it as my Gmail, Lagos Proofreader, starting with proofreading. Now we offer indexing because clients will just call, or this book needs an index. Can you do my index? I need a bibliography work. I need someone to ghostwrite. So, from all of that, we've tried ghostwriting, we've tried the indexing. We are very good. 100% our proofreading and indexing services are always available. With editing, always available. With bibliography, sometimes available. Because personally, I don't do bibliography work. So it depends on when you've come and which staff is available then. You understand? All those things also matter. I need to know before I speak with the client, because most clients speak to me directly. So I need to know do I have a staff who will do a perfect bibliography? Is the person open to work right now, or the person is busy with another project? All of those things have to be in place. If I cannot manage 4 staff very well right now, imagine I get an investor to give me 10 million to start a publishing company. Of course, I need more than 4 staff. I need like maybe minimum of 10 people to work with at the same time, minimum of 10, 14. And, by then we are looking at, we have so much, we have to now devolve properly. Every department must focus on their work. You can't expect me to still be doing the marketing. You can't expect me to still be doing the proofreading while doing the marketing. I have to focus on maybe just 1 or 2. And, client services is there, this and that. But if I'm not training myself right now, that I've not gotten that investor to drop money, if I'm not training myself right now to do all those things, to work at my business, then when the opportunity comes, either I flunk it, or I'm unable to even get it in the first place, or I just end up wasting the investors' money and their time, and nobody wants that to happen. So for the second part of the topic under consideration, that's I want to look at onboarding your first set of users as a pre-launch startup. I'm looking at it as, okay, maybe this thing is still an idea in my head, and maybe I've spoken with 1 or 2 people, and I'm looking at starting, maybe I'm at home doing nothing, or I'm at work and, I have a day job, but I would really like to moonlight as so thing, or I'm looking at in a few years, in 2 years, 3 years, I want to stop my day job and concentrate fully on this entrepreneurship thing. But, you don't just jump into the cold water without being very sure you can stand it. So as a pre-launch startup, how do you onboard your first set of users? We can look at that with 2 lenses, that of a marketer and that of an entrepreneur who is the owner manager of the business. So in the beginning, as the owner, you are the marketer, you are the accountant, in short, you are the owner of all the offices your business will eventually have. But hello.
Hi,
We
can
can,
hear you
we
now.
can
You
hear
have
you.
some question.
Okay, you can hear me now. All right. So you take feedback from your first two. Hello. I may have to. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
I think speaker have bad network. They have network issues. Let's see.
I think I'm back on. Am I?
Yes, yes, you are.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe I should change my internet provider. Okay, so as a business owner, one of the most important ways to there's no shortcut to getting your first set of users. You have to farm for them. You have to market to them. And a lot of times you have to go out yourself and do it directly. Now, going out is in two ways. Thankfully, because of digital media, going out might be showing up online regularly to aggressively seek your first set of customers, but also don't ignore the offline method, tested and trusted. You know, you can go out aggressively also and market to people in your target demography. For example, when I was going to start as a proofreader, one of my first set of clients was a publisher at Ilupeju, First Atlantic. What happened was when I was with FCMB, it was one of our clients that I had already known as a publisher. So when I left FCMB, I called him and asked if I could come speak to him on non-banking matters, and he gave me a time. So that was my first publisher client. And his checks kept me afloat for months while I was also still marketing on Twitter, marketing on Facebook, trying to get people to believe in what I am offering and to say, okay, I can give you money to proofread for me. So eventually, from the feedback, I was able to see that, oh, people need proofreading services. So that was it was a big ego boost for me to continue. It was like about 4 or 5 months after I started before I registered Lagos Proofreader as an email address with Gmail. When I saw that, oh, I think this thing is going to work out. So, I started launching out, started creating Photoshop, small images on Photoshop to use on Twitter and to use on Facebook and all of that. So you have to be that marketer. You have to be that passionate business owner who is ready to go out and speak to 10 people, 20 people, like marketers, we say, is a funnel. You speak to a lot of people, then the ready ones, they trickle down. Maybe you speak to 50 people today, and it's just 2 people who are ready to say, oh yeah, take my money in exchange for what you are offering. So you take all of that, and let's say you now have 3, 5, 10 clients, that gives you the confidence. Every time that credit alert knocks on your phone, it builds your confidence to keep reinvesting, and it also gives you the cash to reinvest. No matter where you are financially, as long as clients are willing to pay and they keep paying, then you cannot be where you were before you got your first set of clients. You understand? So you take feedback also from them, not just their money. You take feedback. What am I doing right? What would you like me to include? For example, if I say I want to start a delivery business, you know, and I say, oh, I want to go into food delivery. I want to have all these bikes. The carriers on their back will be vacuumed or something, you know, will be warmers that will keep the food warm, no matter how long it takes me to get to the client. So maybe if the person who is making the food is at Surulere, but the person who is buying the food is at Lekki, you know, and it is lunch, you know, so he wants it hot, of course, before he gets, by the time he gets it, he wants it to be hot. So you might be saying, every food vendor, look at me now. I have, you know, my carriers, my bike carriers at the back, we keep food warm for your clients. By the time they are receiving it, even if it takes an hour or 2 hours for them to get their food, it's still hot. And you know, that might just be all you are promising them. That's, you know, it's separating you from every other person who is into delivery business, and you are focusing on food. So you start, and you know, from 2 clients, you get 5, you get 10, and then one day someone calls and says, I know you're into food delivery, but I am not delivering food. I want to deliver raw eggs, and I don't want even one to break. And I know you said you have something that, you know, kind of hugs the food and keeps it warm. Can you deliver 10 crates of egg for me? You know, you might decide, let me try my own on my own first. You buy a crate of egg and you try it, you drive around, you do some stunts on the road, you go back home, you look at the eggs, you see that what you have can deliver. That's it. The next day, when you get on Twitter, when you get on Facebook, when you get on LinkedIn, hello, people who want to deliver fragile stuff. We can deliver your fragile stuff. We promise you it won't get broken, it won't burst, all of that. You know, that's a way to take a feedback from the market and turn it into a profit-making service for you. A profit-making service, yes, that gives you profit and all of that. So that's one encouragement, you know, for you to just start with what you have. And you know, by not starting big, the mistakes are easier to correct. It's easier for me now to handle, if I take let's say a cup of water and it's filled to the brim and I'm taking it up 7 floors, but it's just a cup of water. It's easier for me to monitor the cup of water while moving up the stairs than, let's say, you know, a bucket of water or 2 buckets of water. It's easier. You understand? And so when you have just one promise, one product, one delivery, don't let it stop you. Don't look at it that it's too simple. It's too everyday. It's too bleh. No. No. Test the market. From the feedback, you work on it again. Remove this, add that. Then you test the market again. And then, you know, from that experience, you can move faster, you'll be more agile, you can change things more easily. And you can, you know, there are so many things for you to work on if and after you have launched. You understand? When you launch, the most important part of launching really is getting the product right. A tech product like an app, a website, or a gateway thing. A product, maybe you make clothes, you cook food, you are a book writer, a lot of things. There are many industries that, you know, could need to be able to identify what the minimum viable product is. And then from there, you can move on. So if you are the marketer, you know, even if you are giving out your marketing, you still need to be able to keep up with whatever your marketing team is doing. You see, need to be able to say, okay, what are we doing? What's the feedback? When you went out today, when you spoke with people online, when you spoke with people offline, what are they saying? You understand? For instance, now, if company XYZ has built a coding app to teach children under age 12 how to code, using Python or CSS or even C++, whatever, you have sat down and you say, I know how to teach kids. I know how to code. I'm going to build an app teaching other children how to code. And so you have written this beautiful thing. You are about to, you launch it on Play Store, and people are downloading it in trickles, but you keep marketing, and they are downloading it. And so of course you ask for feedback, and from the feedback you notice there is adults that are responding, and they are not saying, oh, my child loves this, or my daughter loves your app, or we don't like it, my child refuses to use it. They are saying, I enjoy it, I've been looking for something to teach me how to, and you're looking at it, there is adults that are using this app. What is that that's a feedback for you to work on. You understand? It just means that the market for apps teaching other adults how to code, they are not doing it well. People are not really enjoying it. And you can, from there, expand your services. Maybe within the same app, you now add other coding languages written as if for kids. But now it's adults that, or you might say, okay, I'm still going to write on Python, but now I'm going to write a paid version in which people who don't want adverts to pop up, or people who want more in-depth, who want more than beginner Python lessons, they can now pay me 500 naira per app and be able to access all these things. But you now remember that the unique thing about your app is that you wrote it as if you're talking to a little child, maybe a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old. So even when you're writing the advanced version, or you're writing another programming language, you still use the same tone, the same, simple words to still teach these things, so that whoever, wants to pay or still wants to download, we say, oh, people did say that this app is easy to use, and now I agree that it is easy to use. I'm happy to pay to use it. And of course, you are happy to receive their money. That's a big reason why you are doing what you are doing. So as a marketer also, you learn to take all this feedback, and if you have a developer team separate, of course, you need to give them the feedback. If the developer team is also the marketing team, you guys need to discuss and know what you're offering, what it does for the client, and the market segment that has become most important to you and what is important to them, so that you can meet them at the point of their needs. So thank you. Any questions now, or should we leave that for later, Ms. Ineka? Okay, someone said estate management system in the chat box. You are thinking of developing an estate management system. I think it's a great idea. Is it in the sense of estate associations having an app or something by which they can manage whatever they are doing, their dues, their meeting, power, all those things? Is that what you mean?
Yes, that's what I mean.
Okay, so I think the minimum viable product for that is just to build the app first, and then go out and give it for free to 1 or 2 estate associations. Let the chairman and a few of the executives, let them have it, test it out, and give you feedback. And from their feedback, you can work on that.
Okay.
Yes, Adegbenga Haruna. Yes, you're welcome, Ms. Rita. Adegbenga, no, yes, it's actually very easy to launch your books on Amazon if you are willing to go through the process. You don't need to pay anyone to do that for you. Just go to Amazon Author Central, read up. As you are reading, be taking the steps one after the other. That's all you need to do.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Can you just please call the name again?
Which name?
Amazon what? Amazon
Author Central.
Okay, Amazon Author Central.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other question? Okay, I'll hand over to Ms. Nneka now. Thank you very much for listening, everyone.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Anthony.
Okay, I have a question. Okay, one problem with that we face as a startup is continuity, the ability to continue based on the ups and downs. Okay, how would you advise a situation where you've gotten an MVP, you've gotten a minimum viable product out, but then when you approach potential users, they tend to want to clone your idea, to do it in a separate way, and that way they end up not coming back to you or not coming back to you as to regard usage, even when it's free, especially. You understand? So how would you suggest that? But take for instance, I was able to launch to gather some team, and we developed an app that manages visitor authentications for both estates, private residences.
That manages
visitor management system, for private buildings, private estates, corporate organizations, those check-in and check-out that they do manually. Yes, but when we approach potential users, even on a free version, let us even have feedback. We get to see a situation where persons that we have approached, when we go back there, we see that same application has been deployed, and it's kind of more frustrating because you're even scared of who you're even speaking to, because you don't know exactly what they intend to do in the next hour. And so far, it's not been easy. So what advice will you give in such a situation?
Okay. I think this speaks more to their dishonesty. And I have to ask, the one they are launching, is it yours, in another name?
Okay, no, not exactly. Not exactly. And in short, when I went back there, I even noticed it's even less than what we are even coming to offer. But then they were able to do that. The idea was sold to them. Like, they were able to sit, they started to give us listening audience. We listened to us, we spoke and agreed on the dates when we get to deploy, because it's a web-based system. Yes, so we are hoping to get the apps deployed currently on the apps, on the Play Store and App Store, Apple Store. Well, right now it's a web-based system. Then only to go back and see that such application have been deployed, although the look and feel is not what we offer, but then the idea is just what we gave them. So they saw it and decided to do otherwise. So in such situation, what would you advise? Because right now we haven't getting scared of who to approach, who to discuss with, because you don't know the next line of action for people. And that's why when I discussed with my team, we decided, okay, if we need to speak to any person, then there needs to be like an NDA that needs to be agreed. I don't know if that's the right approach, or I just need some words, some advices and all on going that route. Thank you.
Okay, first I feel like saying congratulations, because in the first place, you have a viable product. If it's not viable, after listening to you, they won't take any action. For them to go deploy theirs, that means they know, they've seen the value in what you are offering. But is, there's that, I don't know, I feel like calling it dishonesty that is making them say, oh, let's go and do as, we don't need to take ease, we don't need to buy from him or collect for free from him. I think it's just, but these things will not, like when all we had and tell them, I have this idea. Instead of the TV or radio to, let them run with their idea, they will, they will pump them with questions, get what it is and all of that, and then go and execute it behind them. These things happen, that people are robbed of their IP. So what I would encourage is, please, if it's possible for you to get the app on Play Store first before you speak to the next customer, it will be very, very helpful. Get it launched on Play Store, on Apple, and then the only thing I'm saying now is, if at that meeting, that first meeting you hold with them, just tell them, okay, so open to your App Store and download. They already have it. So why go all the way to go get their own? And again, you understand? I think that's that will forestall the inclination to say, oh, we don't need his. And that maybe the fear of your charges might not push them away. If it's a freemium and you say, oh, if you don't, you can have these features for free. But if you want all these other beautiful things, then you have to pay and all of that. And then maybe you start with something affordable so people don't get antsy and run away. Those are the things I can say now offhand.
Okay, thank you very much. Exactly what we
You're
did.
welcome.
We had the free plan allows you access to some certain features, while we have some other features that are paid for. Probably, well, actually, the charges were not so much. I mean, the charges were mainly for deployments, installations, and everything that needs to be done. Well, on the other hand, I want to appreciate your words, and going further, I think, like you said, like suggested, we look at deploying the app on the store, so that the hustle of the fear of bearing the cost of maintenance of the web or something like that will not be there anymore. And then
Yes.
they know they already have the product and nothing else, just usage. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. All the best.
Thank you.
Ms. Neka, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Bukola, for your presentation. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
So everyone, as we all know, Bincom Dev Center is the host of today's events. And today's event is Bincom Startup School event. And Bincom Dev Center is a multi-location based training and development center. We have locations virtually near you. We have locations in Lagos, Oyo, Kano, Kaduna, Ogun, Delta, and we are planning on expanding to many more locations. And these are services that we offer in Bincom Dev Center. We have Bincom Academy, Bincom Tech Internship, Tech Apprenticeship, Bincom Community Events and Projects, Light Space, Bincom Global Tech Program, the Emigrate, and Bincom Mentoring Platform. So Bincom Academy is a 4-week program for different classes. And on your screen below, you can see the classes that we have available. And each class costs 50,000 naira, but you will be given a discount. And to register for any of these classes, you have to visit bincom.net/academy. Next one is white space. We offer co-working space for your meetings, your events, anything you want to do and you need a location for that, we offer you that, and we have location virtually near you. To find out more about this, you can visit our website blog.bincom.net/campuses. Next one, Bincom community events and projects. And some of the examples of this event is the one which we are currently on, which is the Startup School event. We have master classes, we have meetups. There's one we have tomorrow, 2 p.m. to join us. We have a Python meetup tomorrow. And these are examples of some of the events that we have. We have ICT Career Talk every last Saturday of the month. You can join us the Saturday of this month or any other month. So the next service is the Bincom Global Tech Program. And this program enables you to launch your tech career globally, gives you the opportunity to learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure. Cost 1.2 million naira, but there are payment options that make this easy.
What are the things you need for this program? All you need is your laptop device, a hunger and a passion for IT. Those are the core tools that you need. The total cost of the Bincom Global Tech Program for the period of 1 to 2 years is just 1.2 million naira. But you don't need to worry about that because it gets better. We have various financing options to help you cover the cost of the program. So you don't need to have any money to even apply or be admitted to the program. One of the financing options that are available for this program is the income sharing agreement. What that simply means is that the company will sponsor your learning. So you would learn for the period of 1 to 2 years and you only start paying back when you get a job and you start earning your income after this program. This means that aside from skills, experience and exposure, the company is also willing to invest its own money on you. That's a total package. What are you waiting for? You need to go on our website, bincom.net/globaltech. You need to register and then launch your global tech career. I'm sure that the tech world, the tech industry is waiting for a great talent like you. Thank you. What are the things you need for this?
So I hope you heard that presentation. It's talking about the Bincom Global Tech Program. Like I said, they want to years program, which costs 1.2 million, but their income sharing agreement to make this easier. Our next service is called Emigrate, and that enables you launch your tech career globally. To launch your career either in the business side of tech or the technical side of tech. So this program is a guide. And we also have personalized consultation sessions, which ranges from 30 minutes to 1 hour. And this costs 200,000 naira. You get endorsement letter guidelines, overview of this application requirements, and etc. So the next one is our ambassador campaign. And this simply you referring one of our service to someone and get 10% of the price the person pays. For example, our Bincom Global Tech Program, which is 1.2 million. You should refer someone to get 10% of that. So if you have any questions about this or you're interested in any of the service, you could reach us on Bincom Dev Center at bincom.net or visit our website. So Thank you, Mrs. Nicola, for joining us once again.
You're welcome.
Everyone, thank you for joining us today. We
Sorry,
have
hello, can you hear me? Our
yes.
second speaker, we're supposed to have two speakers, so the second speaker just joined. He joined a bit late, so we had an issue. So I can invite him in now. Are you done presenting?
Yes, is it on already?
Yes, he's here. So everyone, let's welcome Mr. Festus. He's our second speaker for today's event. Mr. Festus Bello is the CEO of DLG Global Consulting Limited. He is a management resource professional and development practitioner with a specialized focus on advancing inclusive economic freedom, quality national productivity, sustainable economic growth, and decent work for all. Please let's welcome Mr. Festus as we speak on the topic.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Can you hear me? Good afternoon.
You're welcome. Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, guys. From wherever you're here, you are actually attending this meeting. Good afternoon. Okay, so I'm speaking right here from Abuja, and it's a pleasure to have you all here. I'm trying to fix my camera for the video. Okay, good. All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Festus Bello. Just who I am. I'm a black guy, as you can all see. So it's a pleasure to join you this afternoon, and good presentation from the other presenter. I actually learned a lot, and I'm sure in a couple of 15 to 20 minutes, we will be, sharing much idea about minimum valuable products. And basically, I would want it to be like an interactive class. I definitely know that every one of us here are actually into one or two, product development process. So it means that we are all expertise in our field. So I'll be sharing my slide with you, and just a 10-minute slide, just to, sorry, is it 10 minutes? No, 10-page slide. So we can just glance through together and discuss one or two. And I believe at the end of my presentation, we should be able to have a good reason to say, wow, it's worth our time and all. So thank you for the management of Bincom. I really want to appreciate my friend Anthony for this, wonderful, session. And I am sure, today will not be the end of our collaboration, and we have to see how we can work together in developing and also deploying, management expertise across borders. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Very quick one. Let me share my slide. So I want to discuss on the minimum viable product and basic knowledge on how to offset false users. So in a short time, I don't know if you can all see my presentation from your hand. If you can, please just drop on the chat box. I can be able to know we're on the same page, and we can start digesting what we have to do for this afternoon. Can you all hear me clearly, please?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Okay, fine. Okay, so can you all see my slide?
Yes, we can.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Great. Okay. I would want to bore you with a lot of theories. I would want to bore you with a lot of according to. We're going straight to the point, because for example, like I said, I'm Festus. I actually own a management consulting firm here in Abuja. And the moment my friend told me about this particular topic, I began to smile like, wow, awesome, awesome. Because first thing we all need to understand is, for as much as we're innovators, for as much as we're entrepreneurs, we also need to understand that there are some things we need to get right. And getting things right means we keep on we have to see how we can make people have feelings to whatever we're doing. Now, I was talking to a client some time back, and I'm saying this: whatever you're doing, whatever you're selling, whatever invention you're bringing on board, if it doesn't sell to the emotions of your user or your audience, you will find it difficult to scale. And it was like, wow, Mr. Festus, what do you mean by that? I said, good. People buy from you, or people use your product, not because they like you, not because they love you, not because they want to make you scale or they want to make you grow. No, they do that because they want to, they see you to be the solution to what they need. So the emotion there is, I need something. And the only thing I can get it is through this. I need to converse. I need to communicate with people. I want people to see my relevance in the world. And the only way I can do this is to join Facebook or Twitter. So if left to you, if you come to realize that you're even the one enriching Mark Zuckerberg, you'll be like, oh, I'm here poor, I'm rich, and I'm actually enriching a billionaire in dollars. So you're doing that because you have to. You're using your phone, be it iOS smartphone or Android, because you need to. Not because you love techno company or you love the iPhone or the Apple company. So it's a matter of we understanding that first. And whatever product we're selling or we're developing or we're inventing, it has to sell to the emotions of the users. It has to sell to the emotion of the users. And that will be my center of my discussion today. How we can develop, minimum viable product and how we can onboard our first set of users. Now, going into the presentation, we all know what minimum viable product actually means. So it's in a simple shell, it's just about, it's a version of a product with just enough features to be usable by early customers who can then provide feedback for future product development. And I also come to realize that it's actually more like a prototype. It's a prototype that inventors, or should I say entrepreneurs altogether, develop, or offer in the journey to develop a better scale product or to develop, the most usable product. And mind you, when people talk about minimum viable product, like what the first user said, what presenter said, you tend to think it's about app, you think it's about tech. No, it's both in the green sector, in the tech sector, and also in the brown sector. Now, the brown sector are the sectors like, for example, the construction, the agriculture, and all. These are brown sectors. These are any sector that involves you being dirty. I call it brown sector. So then we have, the tech sector, which of course I know most of us, like what Bincom is doing. Bincom is actually a tech solution company, providing, app development solutions and all. I'm trying to advance for you guys. You guys will pay me after my class. All right. So back to the discussion. Prototype system, it's more like you developing, a first set of project or service in your mission to understand your market, to understand your product, and also to be able to understand the emotions. Back to what I said, emotions of your customers or your users. So the first set of the pre-launch service you do or your pre-launch product is actually targeted to what? One, to understand your product first, understand your market, and also to understand the need, or better still, the emotions of your customers as regard your product. So the technique helps them to, help us to make the final product, better. It helps us to make a final service better. It helps, the research concept actually is more for like, it helps the builder, it helps the visionaire, it helps the, the marketing team to know where the product is lacking and where the strength and weakness lies. So I'm going to give you a story of how we started BFG. I actually finished my first degree in 2017, and after my service here, I after my service here in 2018, I actually started my company. And now the idea is this. Now, my brother here, Mr. Anthony, knows me very well because we actually finished from the same college as University of Abuja. So now I just something I never knew about, to be sincere to you. I have never come across what they call MVP at that time. I had my background in political science. So I had no idea about what MVP is. So, but there's this mindset about me which has to do with start small. Now, I'm going to stop there in that story, then move to the next slide. Features of MVP. Now, we have so many features of MVP, and because of time, I actually limit my features to 3. And then the first one is one is that it will have enough features for consumers to purchase the product. It becomes easier for the company or developer to market it. Your first set of product, you have this confidence of, well, it's not my full product, so you can't tag me a failure yet. You can't tag me, even if I messed up with the product, you won't tell me this guy messed up, because you already have this free mind of saying, well, guys, it's a prototype. So it makes you to have a full confidence of what you want to do in the market space. Like, I'm not coming here to say I'm better. I'm not coming to this space to say, buy me now. I mean, I'm the best. But I'm coming here to say, hey, see what I have done. Please help me confirm if it is nice, if it can fly. That is how it works. So 2, it must have some sort of feedback mechanism wherein users will be able to send their feedback about the product. Very, very important. Now, how do you manage this? If you're running a tech program or a tech project or a tech, product, whatever it is, and we have 2 kinds of service rendering company. We have a product selling company and we have a service selling company. Now, the product selling companies are companies who actually offer either what you can feel, a product you can feel and touch, like a smartphone like this, or an abstract product. Is it a materialized product or non-material product? Material product that has to do with interface, has to do with what's it called? Software. We have the hardware, we have the software. So the software system of product, or should I say services, has to do with abstract. So basically, how do you manage feedback system on both sides? Now, if you're running a software project, I'm not actually saying software because it's tech. Rather, I'm saying software to classify, any kind of service you're doing that does not relate to what I can see, feel, and touch. Like for now, when I'm running a service, if I'm into content writing, a content writing service is not actually, a viable product you can see, feel, and touch, except you print the material. So it has to do with now, reading through this, your articles and all. So it's actually, I'll call it an abstract product. So it's an abstract. They're not something you can feel and touch. I hope you will understand this. So now you develop feedback system by every time you refer to your end users or you speak to your end users. If you're running a software system, you have to develop what they call a feedback mechanism. It's that you use to be very simple. You can use a Google form, or you create a web form where you have the feedback of the end users. From there, you collect the data. From there, they give you the response. And mind you, the response should be very genuine. You have to indicate it there. Hi guys, my name is Festus Bello. I am the developer of this. Please, I would want you to please, drop your sincere opinion regarding this. What do you feel about this? What do you feel about using it? What was your first reaction when you saw this? So these are things you can put, on your form, or your digital form for them to fill. And if it is actually an hardware system, what's it called? An hardware building, you can have it on your app interface to have what they call, user's view, on the app interface. Then if it is a product, I mean, like you're selling a physical thing, you can do a questionnaire, and hardware questionnaire where you share, and your questionnaire should be shared, not too much bulky stuff, in less than 5 minutes. 5 minutes is too much. In less than 2 minutes, they can be able to fill, and it won't waste their time. Because I've understood over time that Africa, anything that will stress us, we don't like to put head in it. So we have to also understand that. And the third option there is features. Here is lastly, we have enough feature benefit for consumers who want to adopt product first. Now, I'll give an example of what Google did. Google gave a free upgrade of its operating system to all Nexus users, that particular free upgrade was what they use to leverage their data acquisition system today. You know, currently Google is the world's largest data acquisition company in the world. And in fact, there's no the first thing you need to understand is this. For you to, if you buy a phone today or a device today, the first thing they ask you is for you to what? Log into your Google account. You can't even use a phone without Google. Can you see how powerful it has become? So, but they started very small. You understand? So they actually gave a full upgrade to their operating system. So almost every device, every operating system devices, they collaborated with them. They were giving them a free, upgrade users, and they were doing that for the sake of them to be able to get best out of what they're doing. And note this. Now, your MVP feature understood that it can be consumable product daily, use product, or even a service provided by a website provider. Like I was saying, maybe content writer, CMS, if you're into app development, if you're into the brown sector, it can also be a product you can see, feel, and touch. It can be a product you can be using daily. It could be a biro, anything that is a product, and it's either a service. The idea is to start small and then take cues from the users as to what exactly are they expecting from the product. So now back to my story. I actually finished and I decided to start my company, and I actually did something first. What I did first was this. I was very broke. Something must make a man to leave out of his comfort zone. I was very, very broke. I had no money. So I was like, what do I do? What do I do to upskill myself? I mean, to just earn a living. Looking for a job wasn't my option because over time, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur because I actually learned that from my mom and my dad. They never went to university. They never went to school. They're both illiterate, but they sustained us through school because they were both entrepreneurs. I had to power my gen. So in case you're hearing this from the background, sorry about that. So now, I actually had to now start my project, my company, and I started very small. What did I do? I went back to my university where I finished from. That is where I'll stop now. Then I go to this slide. Now, over time, we've been able to have difficulties around how to identify MVP. How to best say, okay, fine, I want to run an MVP on my feature product. And for example, look at this. Look at my slide very well. You see how not to build a minimum viable product. How not to build. Now, you see the end product of this company, of this particular product is vehicle, right? And this person was doing tire. How would you do tire to understand the end user's perspective on a Peugeot vehicle, a complete Peugeot vehicle? It doesn't relate. It doesn't relate. Or how would you do two, floor tire to understand the engine of a Peugeot vehicle like this? It doesn't relate. Or how would you illustrate that the boots? No, it does not relate. Now, look at the second step. The second, what's it called? Phase. Also, how not to build a minimum viable product. Your end product is vehicle, and you're starting with, electric. What would I call this? Is it? I won't call it bicycle, but somebody should help me. Is it like a skate cycle? I don't know, but whatever name you want to call it. So you are actually heading to have a vehicle, right? And you're starting with, whatever you want to call this. So now it doesn't relate because how does a motor, like an automobile vehicle, relate with, a two-tire bicycle, or what they call it now? So that is it. But now this is how best you can do it. You want to build a vehicle. You want to build a comfortable vehicle. You want to build a flexible and comfortable vehicle. And what did you do first? You develop a product. You understand? And the product you do, though, is not your perfect product or your perfect service yet, but see what you did. You develop what they call, is it I'll call this ELOS, right? Or lorry. Let me call this lorry. Now, you do a lorry, and you understood that with what you did your testing from your end users, and you were able to understand that they actually prefer a comfortable vehicle than having a lorry. You understand? Because you realize that most of the virtual, or should I say, majority of the popular users of vehicles people who are actually into of simple vehicles are people who are into the number of people who actually work out, like they don't do site job, they don't do anything that's to do with the brown sector. So the ELOS or whatever is actually meant for heavy duty activity. So now, and there are actually few of them who are in that sector. So for you to be able to have overall taste of the entire world population to buy into your vehicle, you need to do what they can call, which is something to cover the entire vehicle, very simple, can carry a family, it's very simple, just like you have the end product. So you did something big first, and something big, something so, or not really the perfect uniform product, but you end up getting it. So it's in uniform. They are all automobile, they are all vehicles. Do you understand? So that's what you need to understand. So unlike the first one I talk about doing a tire, and your end product was to be a vehicle. No, that's about like, or doing a bicycle, and your end product was to be a vehicle. No, that's not what it has to be in the same parallel sector. In the same parallel sector. Now, relating this to my story, what did I do first? I wanted to have a business consulting firm. I wanted to build a management consulting firm that can both do overall management consulting, like research, like business development consulting, like information technology, like project finance, and every other, whatever, strategy management, advisory services, and all. And I realized that, okay, fine, what do I do first? I had to start consulting from the little skill I have, which was content writing. From the little skill I have, which was what? Content writing. I went back to my university and I did an advert for students on writing their project. For a year project. I did that for good 3 years. For good 3 good years. I was using that to monitor my service skill. I was using that to monitor my, my consumer, experience. I was using that to also monitor my brand, to understand my brand. Like, how can I scale fast? What do I need to do? Now, how do I scale from going from research into IT, from IT into trainings? Now, before we start becoming a full-blown company, like the way, at least to the extent we have right now, I was actually doing what they call more like a partnership deals with some agency in Abuja, whereby I do like a freelance stuff with them. So they get deals, they pay me for the deals, I do the deals behind the scene, and I give them the offer under their brand name. I was doing that behind the scene. You understand? That these are minimum viable services I was doing. Minimum viable services. They are services because they are abstract services. I don't have a product out there. So they are abstract services. So now I was doing that. Now guess what? Okay, let me stop here in this story and go to the next slide. I hope you're following me along with my storyline and also understanding my slides. So at the end of the class, we're going to discuss 1 or 2 things together. Now, the importance of MVP. Now, we have first, it helps to reduce resources. Very simple. One thing about building a company or building a product or building a service is about, minimum, expenses towards getting what you want. Instead of having an extravagant spending or, some spending on things you not end up using, it can bring waste of resources and at the same time delay your time and all. Just imagine you collecting a loan to start a project and you end up putting that project on a finished product, and yet the finished product is nothing to write home about. You've lost money. 2, you've lost the trust of those who funded you, and you've lost the credibility of the market. So for you to avoid that, you just have to make sure you do something small, like something minimum within the scope of the future product, and you do a test after that. Then 2, the importance is it helps to speed up the process of learning. Very, very importantly, on the job learning, you cannot know it all. Even though you do your research very well, there are still some learning perspective that you need to keep featuring in your product. Why it's on use. Now, Facebook never has status. As a 2008 when I joined Facebook, there was no status. There was no adverts. You can bear with me witness to that. There was no adverts. You advertise your product there, advertise, do boosts, do promo or whatsoever. No, there was nothing like that. There was no any kind of e-commerce system on Facebook. All you have is just to upload picture and drop a post and people comment and you reply. That's all. And you message. But now Facebook have advanced to having an e-commerce system within the circumference of Facebook. It have, a status view system, and if right now the CRMS of Facebook is getting stronger. Now, most of the web systems, I'm referring to web development systems, web WordPress systems. Now they make use of either Facebook or WhatsApp as their CRMS, platform, and it's already overtaking some of these major CRMS platforms. Almost all the whole website right now, multinational companies are having WhatsApp integration on their website. It's very easy for you to just tag them up on WhatsApp, and it's already overtaking. You understand? And now we have what they call WhatsApp My Business, and we have the normal WhatsApp. The WhatsApp My Business have an automatic, an AI interface, where even if you're not on present, there can be an automatic response. But you know how they migrated from? They migrated from a very simple, a simple milled product nature to now it's becoming complex. That is how it is now. And the learning process, because as at that time they did that, was what the market needed. So conversation was actually very narrow in that way. But now conversation is now complex. People want to be known out there. Any small thing, they just want to share out an information. Everything that comes to your head, what they want to do is just to upload it on Facebook or upload it on the nearest platform, which is WhatsApp. You understand? So that is what people want now, and they've been able to fly into that. And I'm going to tell you something about WhatsApp. Before the company, the owner of WhatsApp, sold its company. I'm referring to the likes of what's his name? This former employee of Yahoo. I think I wrote his name down somewhere. Brian Acton and Jan Kwong. When they sold WhatsApp, they could not be able to fit into the demand of the market. And guess what? When Zuckerberg bought WhatsApp, you see the way he was able to integrate WhatsApp with Facebook. Now the status you post on Facebook, you can share it on on WhatsApp. You can share it on Facebook. You can share it on Instagram. Now you see the integration. That is how it works. So there's a complexity of the product that comes thereafter after your MVP, assessment. So now we have what they call building a perfect product. Yes. The end is a means to an end. So the end is to build a perfect service or a perfect product. Now, then we have a proposal to get him fund. Is a client we are currently running a project for, and the client is basically building what they call an accountability chat system for a mental health, what's it called? I don't know, mental health, audience, those who are actually suffering from depression or, and we did something for him. We already did an MVP around what we want to do. We actually have a web system around it. We did a web and also an app system. And right now we're actually doing a test run on that service. And he said something. He said, guys, I want to use this thing to get fund. So they were asking me for a prototype. That is how it is. So basically, it also serves as a proposal, or should I say, as a mechanism of getting fund from your investors or from people who, are willing to purchase or buy from you. I'm coming. I mistakenly didn't. I forgot to plug my system. So let me do that now. Okay, so it serves as a means, like an evidence, a virtual, what you can see, feel, and say, hey guys, this is what I want to build. I need fund for this. So it serves as a means of getting or proposing for fund, like a proposal. Then the sixth year is that it helps to win stakeholders' interest. The stakeholders' interest, like when it comes to services in the employability market, or did I say in the marketplace, there are three stakeholders. We have the first stakeholder is your customers, your consumers, your first customer, your first stakeholders, followed by your investors. Then there's even a debate about staff and investor, which one should come first. But whichever way you want to place them, it depends on your priority. So we have three. We have your consumers, we have your staff, then we have your teamwork, and you have your investors. Those who are actually investing into your project or your project. And that is it. Then that is your three stakeholders. So basically, these guys or your products, your services, your minimum viable product or service help you to win your stakeholder any of your stakeholders. It helps you to win them. It helps you to get a trust from them. It helps you to key into same alignment. If you're doing this, if you can do it, come and join me. If you cannot do it, you get them off the bus. It's as simple as that. Now, verifying the market demand, it's also a very good importance. It helps us to verify the actual market demand. You can stay in the comfort of your office or in the comfort of your room to now say, hey, I want to build an estate management, system, like what the guest said. And the idea is to see how you can connect the buyers and the seller in what's it called? Infrastructural products like housing, land. And you say, hey, it's gonna work because I want to bring in real estate. I want to attach e-commerce into real estate. Now, there are many people who are doing that currently. And a client of mine called me some days back, I think it was last month, and he said, actually, the client will not charge a company from scratch. She's into real estate, and she was like, Festus, what do you say about this? I want to start, a hub. I want to develop a hub where I can begin to monetize my hub and connect my consumer and the end users, the end buyer from the seller of properties. And I was telling her, well, it's a good idea, but do you think this will fly? She said, yes, it will fly. No, the first thing is this. You might think somebody is actually, making you not to see a reason. Maybe somebody is not optimistic about your product, or this person is pessimistic or something like that. Now, no, it's beyond that. It's about being factual. It's about being real. And I said, see, sincerely speaking, if I was you, or if I was you, and I have such thoughts coming to my head, I won't develop such system for myself. I would rather look at an identifiable brand doing a similar thing, and I partner with them, right, to benefit from. Like, for example, if I'm to do what's it called, bring in my product, or should I say my infrastructural product, such as a housing or land, into a marketable space like a hub, how many people will be able to come into the Play Store or into the Apple Store to develop to what's it called, to download your app? Before you begin to get recognition of that app, you spend a lot on advertising, you spend a lot on marketing. And how are you even sure that in the next 2 years you can scale? How are you sure about that? Now, because the stress of people going to the Play Store to download the app first will discourage them. The process of you going to the Play Store to go and look up for the app, it will discourage them. Then why don't you start with a browser, with a web browser? I mean, start from that space. Start from having a web that sells. Jumia started from a web store before going into a app. Now they even have a app that have what they call Jumia Food. Now, can you see how they started? They didn't start from app directly. No, they started from a web store. I mean, from a web, web system where you can actually go www.jumia.com and you just get what you get very easily, and that is it. So it took them a minimum of 5 years in operation. They've already understood that people are beginning to know what we do. We have the market in West Africa, so now let's go into app. It's not easy for me to say, hey guys, do you know you can make things easier for you? Just download this app and you get what you need within a second and apply. Instead of going through the stress of pressing www. blah blah blah. You understand? So starting small makes it easier for you not to waste resources, not to waste your invention, and not to waste your time, and not to go into debt. Because one thing is, it's always very easy for you to invent something, and in the first 6 months you started making sales. Boom, you'll be so happy about it. Because the idea of what you're doing is to make what? Money. Not for charity, not for like the charity system, but for some of us, majority of us is to make money. Now, so if I'm doing this and I'm having 6 months to start making sales, then what do I need to do first? I need to first do what they call MVP, minimum viable product, minimizing my idea into the lowest rank of starting, before launching into the main deal. So give us a time frame, and you begin to project into scaling little by little. Uber, for example,
Now you can share ride with someone else on Uber. You can share ride. Like for example, what I mean can share ride means if you're going to, okay, for those in Lagos, if you're going to Yanapaja from VI, and there's also a similar person going to Yanapaja from going to VI from Yanapaja, you can share a ride with the same person. But the issue is the problem of trust, because you don't know who the person is. That's the only challenge they have in Africa. But you can share right now. You can share right with, you can co-join someone yourself with person and pay the money expected to pay for your logistics fee, instead of you paying the money all by yourself. But it didn't start like that. No. A company currently we consult for, I'm trying to make sure it's more practical, because it's not just about talking about the theory, it's about talking about the practical analysis of it. Now, this company is called Nairazi. Nairazi is actually a startup company, a startup logistic company in Nigeria, and I think is even the first and only. If I'm not correct, you can actually comment to order, but I think it is. It's actually the first and only Nigeria-owned transport company when it comes to automobile transport. I mean, mobile technology integrated transport system in Nigeria. It's called Nairazi. Now, we were part of, our company, BFG Global Consulting Limited, was part of the firm that actually did some, the conference collaboration and the public hearing to drivers, public hearing to the, the end users, like the taxi drivers and all. So we brought them together and we begin to educate them about the app. We begin to educate them about the app. Guess what? The education was done twice. These guys were illiterate. Some of them don't even have a smartphone. You understand? And some that even have, they only use it for call. You understand? So they find it difficult to use the app. They find it very difficult to use the app. Guess what, guys? I'm sure Nairazi have not been able to break even for the past 1 year since they launched out. They've not break even because they felt it was just to imitate what Uber has done and just call it Nairazi because we're in Nigeria, so it should be along, it should flow with the name Nairazi. No, it's beyond that. It's beyond that. Now, how do you understand the markets that the Uber have penetrated or both have penetrated? How can you be able to adapt the system from them? At what discount rate? Okay, even though it is cheaper, how many people, I'm sure not all the entire workspace understand or even know there's even what they call Nairazi. So how much are you putting on advertisement? So these are things we need to understand. And in your area of developing an MVP, what exactly are you doing towards, having what they call a community of drivers in Abuja? So these were things we brought for them, and we charged them some money they couldn't pay us, so you have to let them go. All right, first set of users for MVP. Now, how do you test run your users? How do you test run your product? What are the first set users you need to consider? And people need to understand that. See, I heard one of my friends, I don't know who said so, about trusting people on who you should use to test your product, because some of them may end up hijacking your idea and all. I heard someone saying about that, and that's very true. That's very, very true. One has to be very, very careful on who you share and how you share or how to place it. Now, the first thing you should understand is well, you can't sign an NDA, or should I say, a service level agreement with everybody. It's not possible. You can't. So you just have to take the bold step, because no matter how it is, there's always a unique and USP, unique service proposition about your idea. So you don't sell out everything. You don't put out all your old features on your MVP at all. No, you don't put all, so that you can be able to have a label identity. It's what they call trademark in business. Coca-Cola and Pepsi produce the same soft drink, but people value Coca-Cola than Pepsi. Guys, how they mix, they're both black. They have yellow Coca-Cola, they have, I call yellow, right? Fanta. They have black, same soft drink, but the taste is different. So now the mixture of, I don't know what you call that, the minerals. The mixture of the minerals is the trademark that Coca-Cola have not been able to expose since their inception, since 1896. Yes, over 200 years now. That same mixture has not been, is a trade identity, is a trademark, I mean, is a trade secret. that will never be exposed to the public. You understand? But everybody have their own similar mineral wherever drink, but they don't have such, and that is why Coca-Cola still tomorrow will still be at the end, what's it called? At the feelings of the end user or the end consumers. And so now back to the story of how to first set users of MVP. Now you have to make sure that your entire features is not what you are dropping on your product or your service. No, you need to have, don't be so eager to put everything. No, if you have 5 features, put 3. Put 3. If you have 5 area of performance indicators, just use 3. Don't put all, because for you to play safe, that's how it's been done. That's how you play safe. That's how you play safe. So, and before you launch out any MVP at all, make sure your company is registered. Make sure you are doing that under a registered company, and make sure you have your what's it called? If possible, you have your license with the Chamber of Commerce. It's very expensive, but you also have your license, which is very, what do you call this stuff? Ministry of Trade and Commerce. Make sure you have it, your trademark. Those things are very, very important. So in case there's always there's someone who actually stab you behind by taking off your identity or taking off for stealing your idea, then you can say, okay, fine, I'm going to sue you to court. This is what I'm doing, and you've actually, sure you understand. So it has to be like that. Make sure you're already a identity. You actually have an incorporated system that can be sued and be sued. So you shouldn't be like doing that under the virtue of it is me. No, have a corporate body. Make sure you have that first before you go into test running. Make sure you have that first. Then to be there that this product is a prototype of blah blah blah. Designed and packaged by so limited. Copyright, everything has to be there. It has to be there. If it is a service identity, we're running a service package. Probably you're running a not a product that can feel and touch. It could be like an abstract service. Then you should make it known that whatever service you're doing, have a label. Make sure it's registered. Your research, though. Anyway, most of these guys into abstract services, in non-material services, don't even have problem. But most of them are into client-based service. And client-based service, you're working for a client. So whatever you're doing, you can't even, since the client has paid you, you can't even put your company identity, except the client allows you to, So I wouldn't, you guys don't really have much problem. Where the challenge falls to more is the product, the material-based services, which is the product selling services. So you need to make sure that your company is registered first. Then first set users, your colleagues, your friends, your families and friends, your work team. Your work teams, your colleagues, your work team. If you are working in a space of 15 employees, all the employees should test it. It should be part of your first set of users. Then if for those who are into community service, like in your church, your mosque, you can actually take it there too. You can actually offset your MVP assessments to that into that geographical area, and your audience within the sector. Please don't be blindfolded. Don't just give it out to somebody who is just a novice. No, it should be people who understand the sector. You understand? Who understand how it operates, and who you consider them as major actor in the sector of your product, your end product. So make sure that if you, for example, now, if you are actually test running palm oil, we are test running palm oil, normal palm oil, red oil, and we want to okay, fine, I want to start, going into wholesales. Then you feel like I want to just know 1 or 2 things about my business. What are your first set of users? First, in fact, if it is me, if I'm living in a tenant community, like in a house where there's tenants, my first set of users are my household people, like the mommy Femi in my next flat, the Mama Chikudi in my other flats. These are people you need to first consider first. Then your family and friends. You understand? Definitely your family and friends. Then if you are working in an environment where you have a workspace, you belong to an employee, you're an employee to a company, you can go to your workspace. Also, guys, I sell this. Nice, the palm oil nice. Okay, the palm oil is good though. Okay, this is not Kogi palm oil, it's from Calabar. So these are identities. So okay, I realized that the palm oil is good. It's whenever I use it, the aroma of my food comes out very well. You understand? You're getting a feedback, right? So then you know that your major supplier, that you've been a middleman getting like all sales from somewhere and reselling. Then you know, okay, fine, I'm sticking to my major supplier, which is this, because of the end feedback I'm getting. So these are areas at which you need to understand. So make sure you key into how you can identify your first set of users. Easiest one, your colleagues, your friends and families, your work team, your target user audience. These are people within the sector, your professionals within that sector. Then you also need to consider those who are into the informal sector, like your neighbor, your church members. If you're in the choir, and give an instance, you can use your choir colleagues to just do one or two things and get the feedback. How to develop MVP. So before I discuss this, let me go back to my story. So I actually did a research. I was doing research services for students, and in my first year of doing a research service for students in Abuja students, I actually had 5 clients. 5 clients. It was so discouraging, but I keep on pushing. Was the chat, right? Oh, 10 minutes. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. First about that. All right, so I have to keep on pushing. And the second year, we had 35 customers. I mean, clients who approached us for what I do. And the third year, guess what, guys? The third year was when I broke even. I wrote for over 100 students, over 100 students, over 100 students. And not just in Abuja, National University, based university, they were up to 100 within the space of 6 months. And guess what? That was how I was able to make my first $1 million as an entrepreneur. That was how I was able to make my first $1 million as an entrepreneur. So what I did was that I had no idea about doing research. So the first 5, I did, the first 5 were my colleagues. My girlfriend, I did for her for free. So I was using her own to understand how to make corrections, because the supervisor were giving her corrections and all. So I was using our own, and also 2 of my friends, I did their own for free. The first 5 were done for free. So I did that for free for me to understand the market, for me to understand how it the thematic area, and also the skill sets required in developing a good thesis. Now, how to develop MVP? First, identify and understand your business and market need. Very key. I think I mentioned that before. Long-term goals. Project a long-term goals. Don't be so eager to say, okay, fine, I'm going to do something. I'm in a space of 2 years, 3 years. No, minimum should be 5 years. Your minimum goal should be 5 years. I told you about Jumia, right? Jumia never launched their app until when they were 5 years in operation. I mean, as if within 4 or 5 years in operation before they were able to go into full app, development. So they started from web, from being a web browser system before they go into app. Success criteria. Make sure and next identify what will define the success of your product. Identify it. As an example there, how a coffee chain, for example, might define success by reaching to 30% time to checkout reduction, having 100,000 active monthly users, and blah blah blah. So these are KPIs you should be able to understand. What is your success benchmark? If I'm able to reach out to 100 people, it means I'll be able to achieve. With that, I can break even. So it's a target area. Now, I'm being able to write out to different schools. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
I have issue with my connection.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Can hear
Okay,
you.
good. Okay, great. Now, understood that. Okay, fine. My target audience. So how do I reach out to the 100? How to map out my strategy on target marketing? Going to the gatekeepers of different schools. Who are the gatekeepers? Because someone wants to know how I was able to do that, right? And the gatekeepers were course reps. I had a meeting with course reps of National University, and I gave them the percentage share. If you can bring this deal to me, you will have 10% of this. It means I can make you what social amount of money within the space of 5 or 6 months. So there's a success criteria. So these are things you need to understand. You have to implement. Map out your user's journey. Your user journey, map it out. It's important to design your mobile products with your user's mind. Your user's mind. it should be user-focused product or user service product, not the inventor's. Yes, it's your idea, right? God has given it to you. But mind you, dictating that product is in the capacity of the end users. Okay. All right, identify the users. I said that before, target audience. Identify the actions or the jobs. The jobs are the actions that our users or users need to take in order to reach the story ending and achieve the goal. Identify the story endings. Now, you know, the story endings are more like your feedbacks. I call it story endings because, you know, like the feedbacks can be in more than, maybe less than 50 words, describe the service of this, blah, blah, blah. What is your view about this? What can you talk about this? So these are your story endings. Then you do what they call, if possible, you can project them on your map charts or whatever you want, whatever system you want to use. Maybe many people want this? How many people want this? With that, you'll be able to identify the exact, you know, need of your audience. I even said that already. Filter first user opinion. Filter means to filter them. You have to, you know, it's like a tunnel. You have to keep filtering them. The one you know, okay, fine, this is within my business model. You adopt it. This one is not within my business model, but it can stay put. You adopt it. Because it's not all idea you will use. It's not all. You have to filter. You have to filter. So you know what you want to do. You know the market and how it works. And it might be so difficult for you if there's no already existing product within that same sector. So what you need to do is this. You just have to, first, you have to drive by the feedback of the end users so that you can play safe, right? But at the same time, you also need to understand that you have a business model. So don't go outside your business model because your business model is like a culture, it's your identity. So decide what features to build. Decide. You have to make a decision on after your featuring. Oh, good. Thank you. I think I've been able of MVP, and these are basic mastery. It's just a basic mastery on what you need to understand first. And I said something, guys. Minimum viable product is a very, very key. It's in fact the first stage in your entrepreneurship journey of being an inventor. If you cannot harness your product or service to key into your user's emotion, there will always be difficulties in making sales. Thank you for the time well spent.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Festus. Will anyone have questions? Questions?
Hello.
Yeah.
Just a quick one to Mr. Festus. Okay, you spoke about features, you know, limiting the features you have in your MVP. And my question is, if, for example, you have other giants, you are venturing into a space that there are other solutions, and then you are bringing in an MVP or a minimum viable product that has features not even up to the standard of what exists, how would that appeal to the conscience or emotions of your users? For example, you can have an idea of having features, you have long-term goals to include some, you know, things in an app, but then what exists currently, probably you want to do something, and what exists currently have features. Okay, let me take, for example, you want to build a social media app. There are some things now that invoke. Facebook has a lot of features, and you want to venture into that space. And you want to put out an MVP, and going by what I understand, will I just do a place where people upload pictures because it's an MVP and then have other item, you know, in my house? How would that appeal to the conscience of your users? You understand what I'm saying? So that's just the thing. So that concept of having limited features in a space where you have an existing giant, an existing solution provider for the same solution.
Okay, thank you. All right. I just answer after every question, so I should wait to have the entire questions before answering.
Yeah, I think you can answer because we are out of time. So you don't mind, you can drop your email, and what have questions can forward it to your email address.
All right, great.
All right, thank you.
Existing giants within a sector, you are developing a product, an MVP. I want to believe that for you in the first place to say, okay, fine, I want to do something alternate. I want to do something contrary to what I've been in existence. You're doing, I want to be sure, if your idea is one focus, it's just one different focus, then I think there's no major viability that will fly, because at that point you might have difficulties in scaling, in the sense that the giants also can be so sure, even if the business development team of those giants also are looking into that phase. So I want to share with you that if at all you have to do an MVP, anything you're bringing on board as an alternate or an opposite idea should be at least three minimum idea that is quite different from what has been already in existence. Now, I don't know if I can give an instance. Okay. Let me give you an instance of, I'm trying to know which company I can best use right now, but none is even coming to my head. Now, the idea is as simple as you being safe and you not being able to, get your idea out to the public, and the public end up hijacking your system, because it occurs every time. People end up having a problem with that. You understand? So what you can just do best is, why don't you think, okay, fine, if I am having 5 features on my app, and I am just putting 4 to get the feedback of the 4, it's not bad. Let me get the feedback of the 4. The 4, while I'm perfecting the 4 features, the 5th one is there. The 5th one can come in after you have perfected the 4. Then after you perfected the 4, then you had it up thereafter. Because in every idea you're developing, you don't release all ideas to the public. You don't make money. In fact, you will go into loss in a short time. For example, you think, I don't know, I'm not part of the team of Facebook, but I'm sure this status idea might have been in existence for a very long time before they even release it to the public. So they have to see how they can make more money. So while you are doing your first 2 or 3 MVP tests running, the last 2 are somewhere there, just waiting. Because your whole idea is not just for the sake of developing it. Because the first thing is this: I know people, entrepreneurs, want to say, hey guys, I have something very nice out there. This is my invention. It's okay, cool. But the goal is this: how much users or how much have you been able to harness from that product? That is what is more important. So as a business development consultant, I actually believe in scaling in minimum level. That's the reason why it's even called minimum viable product. For as much as it's minimum, the features also should be basic. You're not releasing the entire product, so it's basic. If it is on a scale of 1 to 10, you can release 60%. I don't know if I'm getting the answers right, but this is how I see it to be. And with that, you can make money, because at every new launch, at every new feature you launch, you make more money, you make more connects, you make more investors. That's how it works. And with that, your product will not run out of old fashioned easily. Because if you are, for example, releasing 5 entire features, it means in the next 5 years, you may not even be able, how can you be so sure that you may be able to have additional features? So with the one you have, try to maximize them so well that you can be able to say, okay, fine, I'm launching this now, then this will be an additional feature after 2 years. After an additional 2 years, I'm adding this. So with that, you can say, okay, fine, people come to say your product is actually innovative, it stands to the taste of the market, it stands to the taste of new ideas are coming up every day, and people will not get worn out of your product easily. That is, I think that's the best advice I can give you. As
thank you very
right.
much. I mean that works. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Festus, for this wonderful knowledge. You have filled my brain with so much ideas, and I'm sure each and everyone on here too have learned 1 or more, 2 things. Thank you so much for this, your presentation.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And thanks everyone. Thanks to everyone for joining us for this event. And this
is the end of the event. We appreciate your presence. Do have a nice day.
Okay. Can I ask a question, please?
Yes, please. Can you drop your email in the comment section so people can get it for questions? Those are questions, more questions, please.
I think
Okay.
he wants to start.
Is Bincom open to? Well, I think I can ask this behind the scene though, because I would just want to know. I saw the advert you shared about what you do, and do you have an office in Abuja?
In Abuja? No, not yet.
Oh, okay. I just want to know that. I want to be sure if you have an office in Abuja, so we can see how we could have a physical meeting tonight. It's fine. We can always communicate on, virtually, and we'll see how we could take things up from there.
Okay, all right. We'll reach out. We'll reach out to you. We'll have your details. Thank you so much, Mr. Festus.